Tax Talk.
Ah, Mr. Gig Guy. What a pleasant surprise.
Welcome to Tax Talk.
If you want help with anything to do with your tax, from registering to if you're already a taxpayer, any help with doing your tax return, or even if you're in trouble, or even if you haven't registered for a long time, please just click on the link below, get in touch with us, and more importantly, you give the reference GG1 and you'll get £25 off your first year with us. So any problems you need, click on the link below. Peace.
So today we're going to be speaking about Uber. Now, obviously in the comment section, I've had a lot of questions asking me about my views and opinions on the future of Uber in London specifically. I'm here with Gary from DriverTax, and we're going to kick this off. So yeah, let's start with you, Gary. What's your views and opinions?
Well, I think it's something that obviously lots of my clients are talking about. And you know what? We're not here to be politicians, and we're not here to take a stance. This isn't about any political views on the rights and wrongs. However, a significant amount of people, I'm interested in the industry, and I'm interested because I'm an accountant that services the industry. I want drivers to be happy and drivers to earn and things to be good. I think it's relevant. Mm-hmm. And so, is Uber actually going to be their license? Well, it's not been renewed twice, and yet obviously they still allow the drivers to roll on. I will be very surprised if they actually lose their license. And I'm not going to talk about what I want, but I think it's important that the most important thing is it's been highlighted some of the problems within Uber, both to the public and what doesn't come to light, as well as drivers. There's been attacks and things on drivers. We all need. Yes. There needs to be protections in place. It needs to be recognised. Obviously, there was the Panorama documentary as well about the way people are passing some of the language tests and some of the topographical tests. And actually, if you've taken the time to pass the test and you're a proper driver and you're running well, you don't want people scamming their way in either.
Most definitely.
So I can't see how many reasonable human can't say absolutely they've got to get it right. And the fact it's come to the fact where TfL have said it's gone, get your act together. They'd be mad not to put massive resources into sorting themselves out. Yes. Will they actually lose it? I don't believe they will, because I'm kind of presuming that they will bring those resources together. And the one thing I would say about Uber is that they were first into the market, and a lot of the mistakes that they've made, some of the other apps that have come in after have actually learnt from them.
Yes.
And I think there was, without being controversial, a kind of certain like tech arrogance, forgetting what the actual experience is like for the driver and the travelling public. A lot of these startups always talk about the experience and the disruption of the app itself.
Yes.
And we must remember that our job is to take human beings from one place to another in the nicest way possible. So we'll wait and see.
Okay. Yeah. So following on from that, my views. Now, as Gary said, Uber were the first to come into London, the first major app-based company, and they were revolutionary. And when they did obtain their license in London, and when they did step in, they kind of had a blank canvas to work off, really. TfL obviously have their regulations in place, but there were a lot of grey areas, and Uber saw these grey areas, and they tested the boundaries with TfL, and they've been doing it, since inception, and it's laid the platform for other app-based companies to come into London. So what we found is TfL have been kind of chasing their tails and having to upgrade their systems and upgrade the way that they regulate this industry, as the licensing authority, and they've been chasing their tails for a long time, trying to play catch up, and inevitably they've had to tell Uber, yes, we're gonna legislate for this, and no, that can't go ahead, and you're gonna have to put some changes in, and so on and so forth. So Uber really did lay the foundations for the current private hire industry that we see in today's market. There have been many issues. If you look back over the news, I'm not going to name all of them, but there've been many issues that Uber have presented, and politicians have obviously jumped on this, and the mayors, I mean, who've been in power have at the time have jumped on the bandwagon, you know. And safety is also obviously it's obviously going to be a big issue. You're travelling around with members of the public, and as the licensing authority, TfL need to know that the travelling public are travelling in a safe environment with people with the right paperwork and who are registered with them to carry out those journeys.
Yeah, I think that, sorry, one of the things that I think is important to notice, the private hire trade, the Private Hire Act of 1998,
yes,
been around a long time. There weren't apps around when it came.
Yes.
And I think that the technology has not been taken into consideration
yes,
with the legislation that's come through, which has been an issue. I also think that, I think actually people are a bit Uber obsessed as well, because there's some massive private hire companies that transport people from A to B. The trade's been around for a long time.
yes,
And the concept of the app has also, there's been many people following on, and you know, first in, first mistakes, but I actually think the market's going to be a wider, broader.
yes.
So the experience of watching somebody like them drop the ball is a learning element. But you know, and there's a lot of big private hire companies that have actually looked at the safety of the travelling public and everything else. So it's actually about us as a trade.
Yes,
making sure that we're joining together and doing it as one.
and we have to recognise is as a result of the interactions primarily between Transport for London and Uber since 2014, when they did come to London, there's been a lot of safety features that have come into play that have been replicated by all future private hire operators since, that keep the travelling public safe. And as a result, private hire drivers are probably the most they receive the most surveillance, you know, of probably any industry at the moment. You know, they're tracked via GPS. All of their details are just there. Police checks, etc. And TfL are actually doing a good job to ensure that the public are travelling around in a safe manner around London. Okay, as I said, there are issues. Uber currently has lost its license and they're still operating on appeal. I don't think Uber's going to drop out. That's my personal opinion. They're too big a company to drop out. London is one of the main profit-making industries for Uber in Europe. Yeah, they've had issues in other
Have they
countries.
made a profit yet?
Well,
that was too political.
That's way too political.
Sorry,
but
sorry.
yeah, they generate a lot of income. Yeah, profit, I don't know. They generate a lot of income.
Okay,
Obviously, they're reinvesting in other ventures in other countries, in other cities, etc. So where the money actually goes, who knows? You know, they're in everything, helicopters and automated
I took us in the wrong direction, didn't I?
Yeah. So I mean, the money's getting spun around. I mean, if you invested in Uber in the early stages, you're probably drawing a lot of profit. If you invested in them now, I don't know if you're going to see your money ever, but but okay, that's something else. But yeah, I think Uber's going to work hard to keep their license in London. If they do and they keep their license, all well and good. It's more choice for drivers in the market, and also more choice for the travelling public. And if they don't, there's ample other
I think
companies.
That's a point.
Yes.
Whereas if you read the newspaper, they'll say, so many thousand drivers out of work. Actually, we have the facility amongst the private hire community, both operators and apps, to if let's just say that they don't carry on, there's choice aplenty to be absorbed.
Yeah.
I think that's nonsense. I think that's scaremongering. But
most definitely.
Anyway.
Yeah. Drivers are naturally going to migrate to other operators where they can gain business from, and as you've probably seen now from the other app-based companies, there's a lot of marketing and promotions for riders to get riders to sign up with their apps and get discounted rides, etc. So I mean, and the end of Uber is not necessarily going to mean the end of private hire services in London. Yeah, there's not going to be a void in the market, and drivers and riders alike are going to migrate, and it's going to be business as usual. So question remains open.
Good.
You know?
So let's see how many enemies we've made from just giving it.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's important to talk. It's important to talk openly about these subjects. Let's have a look at your comments.
Yeah. Leave your questions and comments below. And I'm the Gig Guy London, and I'm here with
Gary from DriverTax.
and we're signing out. Peace.